This review is made possible by Gerald Kia in Naperville. Gerald's outstanding staff is ready to find the perfect car for you. Whether it be new or used, your next car is waiting for you at Gerald Kia. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2020 Kia Forte GT Line. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4, down below is a CVT. This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US. Let's get back to that 2.0 liter inline 4. Well, there are two engines offered here in the Forte GT line. You can get the 2.0 liter naturally aspirated motor, which this is, or you can get a 1.6 liter turbo. Now, this is the 2 liter naturally aspirated, so there is no turbocharger. And the advantage of that is that you get more low-end torque instantly. The issue with turbocharging and turbocharging systems is the fact that it actually takes time to spool up. That's not the case with a naturally aspirated engine because you don't have to wait on anything. It's just boom, it's there, it's the torque that you need, the torque that you want, and that is it. All right, so Kia Forte GT line, this is the 2 liter naturally aspirated. Let's put it into sport. I'm just gonna let the car shift itself. Yeah. A little bit of slippage. Not bad. It doesn't make a lot of noise because, you know, it is a 2 liter naturally aspirated engine. Of course, it's not going to make that much noise. It goes. It's definitely kind of sporty, and the shifts were actually really quick, and I like that. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT, although there is another transmission offered in the GT Line Forte, which is a manual transmission. You can actually still spec a GT. You actually can still spec a Forte with a manual transmission, which I really like. Of course, I would rather take the turbocharged engine with the manual, but Kia doesn't really sell a whole lot of them, which is a shame. It's the same issue I have with the Corolla, the new Corolla hatchback in manual. I've been trying to get my hands on one for the last couple of months, and every time I go to the Toyota dealer that I work with, they just go, no one's ordered one. But it is a CVT. Now, historically, I haven't been the biggest fan of CVTs. I think they just feel awkward, and I don't think any car company has really mastered them quite yet. However, here in the Forte, it drives like a normal car. It drives like an automatic 6-speed, and that's all that I could really ask for from a transmission. It just feels normal. Of course, it's an automatic, and of course, it's not going to be the sportiest thing in the world. That's fine, but it feels normal, and I really like that. Last but not least, the Forte is, of course, front-wheel drive. There is no all-wheel drive version. But let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges. On the left is my tachometer and coolant, and on the right is my speedometer and fuel. And of course, in the middle, I do have a little center screen that shows me a bunch of different stuff. My radar, cruise control, driver assistance, doors, lights, sound, stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this center display. If you guys want a really in-depth look at that, check out my Kia Soul GT line review because I totally go over everything in that video. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my voice controls, volume, phone, and on the right, my cruise control options and my controls for that center little screen we just talked about. To the left, I have 4 giant buttons. I really like this because there's no dead switches. I have my dimmer switches, my blind spot monitoring on and off, my lane keep assist on and off, and my traction control off. I really like that. I think that panel looks really good, and I like that it looks whole. It doesn't look like I'm missing anything because I shouldn't, because the GT line, you know, you're paying a premium for that nice name and that nice trim. You should get all of the features. On the door, I just have my simple lock and unlock window switches and my power mirror options. Then we get to the center. Now, the center screen has a lot of different things. We have Android Auto, we have Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, navigation, Sirius XM, satellite radio. Anything you really want a center screen to do, this center screen can't do. It is, of course, touchscreen, and this is also where the backup camera can be found. Pretty clear backup camera. I like the lines. It's not the most high-end. It's not, you know, the most visually pleasing backup camera, but it has one, and that's all I can really ask for. Down below the center screen, we do have our physical buttons, so radio, media, our favorites, seek, track, home, phones, and setup, as well as tune and volume knobs. I really like this. And before we get any further, this car does have Harman Kardon speakers, which is part of the GT line package. Harman Kardon are probably my favorite speakers that I've had in cars. I just really like the sound. I think they can really hit a lot of notes that a lot of other speakers can't, and I really, really like that. Then we have the hazard switch and our vents with vent controls. Nothing too crazy here. And then our actual climate controls, again, nothing too crazy here. You have your fan controls, defrost, all that stuff. It's nothing really too interesting. Down below, we do have some interesting stuff, though. We do have a wireless charging pad, which can be turned on and off. I really, really like that. And then our 12-volt outlet, USB charger, and then USB and aux in. Then we come to the shifter. Nothing really too crazy. I really like it. It feels nice and solid. It feels quality, and it doesn't feel like, you know, they just pulled it out of their parts bin, although they pretty much did. I'm pretty sure this is the same shifter that you find in the Kia Soul, but it doesn't look like something that's been used up a million times over 5 or 6 or 30 different vehicles. But that being said, I can put it over plus minus if I like. That actually does put it into sport mode as well. But we do have a button for drive modes. So we do have normal, sport, and smart. Smart will kind of analyze your driving habits and sort of pick out what's best. Normal, of course, normal, and then sport, of course, sport. Pretty self-explanatory there. Now we got to talk about the seats. The seats are nice and comfortable. They do have a little bit higher bolsters on the sides than the stock Forte seat. And of course I like that because this is a sportier car. The GT line is a little bit more of that sportiness. Of course, the turbo manual would be peak sporty, but this is still a sporty car. And so it does have the nice side bolsters. I like how it says GT line. It's actually embroidered in it, and I really, really like that. But we do have back seats, so let's do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Kia Forte GT line, and honestly, nothing really special going on back here. I don't get a charger. I have my window switches. I have a nice LED light, but other than that, this is pretty much going to be the same as your run-of-the-mill Forte. That being said, knee room is actually pretty nice. Smaller cars like this, sometimes you'll start to run into issues with knee room. Knee room's great. Headroom is actually pretty good. I don't know if you noticed, but the roof goes back up right here. So there's actually like a little bubble for your head, which is nice. Center console, just 2 cup holders, nothing too crazy. I wish that it said GT line on the back seats as well, just to sort of differentiate the back seats from your run-of-the-mill regular base model Forte, but it is what it is. That being said, there is some leather, but it's cloth on the inside. It's okay. The back seat is... it's okay. Last but not least about the interior is I do have a decent-sized sunroof. It is, of course, power. You can tilt it, all that stuff. Now we got to talk about the looks. The looks, I think, are actually really good. I like the GT line package that Kia has been offering on the Soul and on the Forte. I think the wheels are pretty aggressive, and the back is actually really, really aggressive. I really like the look of that. I think the front looks good as well. I'm not saying the front doesn't look good. It does have a red grille for the GT line, which I think is really, really cool. And I like the GT badges that they're blacked out and that they're not red, because I think red badges on this colored car would sort of pop out just a little weird. I like the subtlety of it. And this is definitely something I'm going to be looking for when I'm sitting in my next traffic jam is, oh, is that a Forte? Oh, it's a GT line. I kind of get that it's, you know, a little bit different, a little bit nicer, a little bit cooler. It's definitely something to look out for, and I really like that. Overall, I think this thing looks really, really good, and I think, honestly, if you threw it on some good wheels and lowered it a little bit, gave it a little bit stiffer suspension, maybe a splitter in the front and diffuser in the back, this thing could be really, really aggressive. I would love to see if anyone has ever built one of these with the boost cranked up in a 1.6 and just all-out aero. I would love to see a Time Attack Forte. I think that would be really cool to see. And I think, honestly, this thing could probably pull it off. Overall, I have to say I am pretty happy with the Forte GT line. Of course, I'll keep saying it until I drive one. I wish that it was manual, and I wish that it was the turbo option, because those do exist. They're just very rare to come by. And hopefully one day I'll be able to get my hands on one of those. But this is a nice little breath of fresh air in the compact car market. This is a pretty compact car. And so if I were looking for a new daily driver, this would be a really good option, because the GT line, you get some sportier badges, you get, you know, a little bit nicer of everything. It's just a nicer Forte than what most people are used to, and I really, really like that. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Kia does with this GT line, because as you guys know, I recently reviewed a Kia Soul GT line, and I was equally impressed with that car, if not more, because that car actually had the turbocharger, but they don't sell the Souls in manual. I was really happy with that, and I'm really happy with this. And so the GT line might be something to sort of look out for in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. I think if Kia's willing to push it just a little bit further, you know, make it something competitive with maybe the Civic Si. You know, the turbocharged version actually isn't too far off from that. The new Honda Civic Si is a 1.5 liter turbo. This would be a 1.6. Why not crank up the boost on the GT line? Why not add a little bit stiffer suspension? If Kia can find a market for it, I think they should do it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Gerald Kia in Naperville for allowing me to take out their Kia Forte GT line. Again, I'm really happy with this. Everyone at Kia has been absolutely awesome. I actually walked in today and one of the salesmen was like just belly laughing with one of the customers, and you don't normally get that from car dealerships. They're normally sort of standoffish and try to subliminally tell you to go away, but that is not the case with Gerald Kia. Definitely go check them out at the website that is up on the screen. They are absolutely awesome. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
Aside from my soul.